You know that moment when you look at your own story and think, is it still time for me? That's the question that destroys more dreams after 40 than any other. And ironically, it's born from the same scars that made you wiser. You've already built things, taken risks, worked hard, but maybe life has turned in unexpected ways. The business didn't go well. The market changed. And without realizing it, you started doubting your own ability. That inner voice that used to sound strong now speaks softly, almost afraid. It's as if the flame of self-confidence, the one that once moved you, had turned into nothing but a faint ember. And deep down, you miss it. Because without self-confidence, there is no prosperity. Without believing in yourself, no financial plan can survive. This is the silent reality of those seeking prosperity after 40. In maturity, fear changes its face. When we were young, we feared trying and failing. Now, we fear trying again and failing once more. You think about the bills, the family, the responsibilities. You think time feels shorter, that the market is too fast, the young too confident. And then, the mind begins its most dangerous game, self-sabotage. You postpone projects, find reasonable excuses, tell yourself it's not the right time. But the right time never comes because fear, disguised as prudence, keeps you still. And when self-confidence fades, it takes away three pillars of mature financial life: the desire to create, the courage to start over, and the faith in yourself. Why is it so hard to start again, even with more experience? Neuroscience explains, the brain records failures more intensely than successes. It's called the negativity bias. You may have succeeded 10 times, but the mind insists on remembering the one time you failed. And the ego, trying to protect you, builds invisible walls. The economy is in crisis. I've tried before and it didn't work. It's too late to start again. Those walls keep you safe, but trapped. And the lack of entrepreneurial self-confidence comes with a high price. 1. Financial paralysis. You avoid risks, and with that, you avoid opportunities. 2. Self-depreciation. You see your abilities through your mistakes, not through your experience. 3. Chronic demotivation. You lose your spark and live in survival mode. 4. Insecurity. You think too much and act too little. 5th, misalignment. Work becomes an obligation, not an expression. And when these 5 factors come together, prosperity after 40 feels far away. But self-confidence is not a gift. It's a skill, and it can be strengthened even after 40, 50, or 60. Think of real examples. Take Martha Stewart, for instance. At 60, she faced one of the darkest periods of her life. She was judged, convicted, and imprisoned for a financial mistake that made global headlines. Most people would have hidden away, but she didn't. She came out of prison, rebuilt her brand, and turned her downfall into a symbol of reinvention. Today, she's remembered not for the failure, but for the strength it took to come back. A living example that prosperity after 40 can be reborn even from the ruins of reputation, even from the shame of one's own image. And there's also Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest investment funds in the world. In the 1980s, he went broke after a wrong economic forecast. He lost clients, credibility, and even had to borrow money from his father. But instead of giving up, he decided to study his own failure. He rebuilt his mindset, his principles, and his entire entrepreneurial path, overcoming setbacks and defeats. Today, he's considered one of the greatest thinkers in finance and wealth mentality. It reminds us that sometimes the deepest pain can become the doorway to the most valuable wisdom. We can also talk about Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart. Before creating his retail empire, he lost everything when the owner of the building where his first store operated refused to renew the lease and took over the property, right when the business was finally starting to succeed. He could have given up, but he chose to learn. He studied the market, observed customers, traveled through small towns taking notes, and turned frustration into strategy. Years later, from that loss, Walmart was born. These stories prove that age is not the limit, it's the advantage. Maturity is the point where experience turns into capital, where every loss becomes data and every mistake becomes strategy. Because those who have fallen and risen again know self-confidence isn't born from success, it's born from overcoming. How do you reignite that flame? First, recognize that failure is not the opposite of victory. It's part of the process. Every great entrepreneur has failed. The difference is that some turned failure into a school, while others turned it into a sentence. Then, look back at your achievements. Write down everything you've already overcome. You've faced challenges far greater than a new project. You just need to remember that. The third step is to reconnect with your purpose. What moves you today? What inspires you to create, to serve, to teach? When your purpose is clear, fear loses its strength because your focus shifts back to impact. And finally, understand this. Financial freedom after 40 doesn't depend on giant leaps, but on emotional consistency, on waking up every day and choosing to believe again. Self-confidence isn't built through motivational phrases, but through action. Every small victory is a spark. Every step forward is a reminder that you still can. Positive psychology calls this the self-evidence of competence, building small, repeated proofs that you are capable until your brain believes it again. You don't need to launch a big company right now, but you can take the first step. Review your ideas, study the market, talk to people who have started over. A mature financial life is built that way, step by step, with courage and method. And that's what separates those who achieve financial independence and maturity from those who stay trapped in doubt. Remember this: fear is a counselor, not a jailer. It warns you, but it should never paralyze you. And self-confidence is the compass that points you forward, even when the path is uncertain. If today you feel like you've lost the confidence to start again, just breathe. You haven't lost your ability, only your connection to it. The good news is, it's still there, untouched, waiting to be awakened. And when you start believing in yourself again, you'll realize the world never closed its doors on you. You simply stopped knocking. Financial growth after 40 begins right there, when you replace the fear of failure with the curiosity to try again. And if there's such a thing as a prosperity plan for those over 40, it starts like this: with self-awareness, emotional courage, and the decision to stop sabotaging yourself. Close your eyes and imagine you picking up an old dream, you starting over with wisdom, you creating something that brings purpose and sustains your peace. Because prospering after 40 isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about proving to yourself that there's still fire burning inside your chest. You are not too old to build again. You are too prepared to give up. Self-confidence is the bridge between who you were and who you can still become. And every time you act, even with fear, you rewrite your financial story with courage and awareness. So today, choose to begin again. It doesn't matter how big the step is. What matters is the direction. Because true abundance after 40 begins when you understand that nothing was in vain. Every mistake, every fall, every loss, was the secret training for this new cycle of prosperity. And now the stage is set. The audience is life, and the protagonist is you. Did you enjoy what you heard and want to dive even deeper into the topic? The link in the first comment below will take you straight to the next level. And if this video made a difference for you, give back by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing with the bell on.